Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has another tone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history.
It's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When the Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
All right, so welcome back to the program. I have with me Oba Boniface. You're welcome, sir. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And welcome. He is contesting for House of Representatives, Buhari Ama constituency, federal constituency.
Yeah, thank you. That's true.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Maybe you can briefly tell us about your political ambition before we move straight to what we have today.
Okay. Thanks, I appreciate this. My name is, like you rightfully said, is Oba Boniface Omozwapo, and I'm running for the Federal House of Representatives with the hope of representing the good people of Ahmad Buhari Federal Constituency. It is my hope that through my representation, we should be able to provide the good people of Abuja credible and competent leadership representation in the Federal House of Representatives. I'm going to be talking more on how we intend to achieve this. And in recent years, we have been involved in ensuring that young leaders, young business people are able to provide these services and become part of the growing political ecosystem in Nigeria. It is our hope that in 2019, we are all in 2019 now, we give God the praise for that. We are looking forward to a new beginning, a better Nigeria. In Nigeria where everyone can dream and actualize their dream.
Don't worry, I actually don't want you to go deep into it until we go back to it. Now we just saw the just concluded gubernatorial debate that was held in Lagos yesterday. I just wanted to of course it's part of the political expectations or election expectations we have, the debate. So I just wanted to talk to you on your observations on that debate.
Yeah, very good debate. That's the truth. From all contestants and all candidates there, from the ADP, the AC, and the PDP candidates, and then the APC candidates. But you're going to realize from the debate that these are just people sharing ideas and not necessarily providing the roadmap to actualize these ideas.
Okay. Hold on, what do you mean by they're just sharing ideas and they're not bringing up roadmap? Are you saying what they are saying is not something they're going to do? Are you saying what they were saying as campaign promises is not realistic?
Now you're going to realize the average Nigeria is very good when it comes to problem analysis. But in order to solve the problem of Nigeria, you need to put together system structures and effective strategies to ensure that you implement this, talking about policies, implementation, and the right environment. Lagos is a land of great potential, both human, especially the human resources. Now, when you look into the opportunities available in Lagos, for instance, you're going to realize that previous governments in Lagos, they have not really tapped into the human resources in Lagos. Not to talk about the other natural resources, talking about the port in Lagos and everything. Now you're going to realize that there's room for growth in Lagos. But I hope that in 2019, in this election, Lagosians for once should look out for that person that is competent and a man of character, but more importantly, the man of courage to be able to make some decisions, because we have politicians that sometimes are competent, but they're not credible, and they're not men of character, and above all, they're not courageous to make certain decisions because they have to protect the interests of some few individuals. And this is important. Listening to the candidates yesterday, especially the ADP candidate, you realize that this is a man filled with a lot of wisdom. He knows where Mr. Badabusi, he knows what he wants. And then you listen to the APC candidate. Fine, here, there, you see experience, past experience you can talk of. He's a man filled with a lot of traction, good experience and everything. And then you talk about the PDP candidate, a man of hope. You see someone selling hope to the people. But hope itself is not enough. You have to provide a roadmap to put this to bring this to fruition. And then the other is the AD guy, the AD candidate. I don't want to bring him down, but you're talking about somebody with this utopia, but that is how you run a system. It's wanting to paint a good picture, but you have to give the people the pathway. How you move from A to Z is important. You have to also let the people know that you have the capacity to actualize this, and you are a person that, because as a leader, you should be able to harness the resources available to you. For instance, I was looking at the connection between the education sector, the infrastructural development, talking about the civil service, the public sector, merging this together to ensure that there's a flow of resources and there's a flow of ideas. I didn't see that in the discussion of yesterday, but give it to them. They were able to share their vision, and I'll give it, if I'm to mark all candidates, I'll probably give it to the ADP. But you're not talking about is wanting to have the idea. You also need to have the system to win the election, and after winning the election, you also need to have the system, the structure, and men and women of great strategies, and talking about the C's of development, talking about capacity, capability, character, and courage. You need to have this 4C to be able to cause.
All right, now going straight to the general elections and its expectations. Now, at a time like this, you know, in a democratic dispensation, we're about to elect new leaders again across all boards, across every political sphere and all positions, you know, politically elected and all that. Now, what are the general expectations that we are all looking out for, you know, at a time like this?
It's interesting. I'm going to start from myself and then also believe that my team and people who I've been working with, we're a nation divided. We need leaders that will ensure that we develop a national identity, a common vision we can all look up to. We have it in our national anthem. But the truth is that we are divided so much. Everybody's working for his own clan, for his own religious sect. We don't have a Nigerian identity. We don't have the culture of Nigeria first. I think we need to develop the national identity, and it's important that we begin to have a common cause.
What is the correlation between the national identity and the actual work we need when someone steps into power?
Okay. Now, you're going to realize that because we don't have the concept of national identity, we don't bring out the best from the different part of the nation to get the job done. Because we don't see Nigeria first. We see my ethnic group first. Now, to get the job done, for instance, you need to bring the best and the brightest to run the system. And this affects the way we appoint SAs, ministers, commissioners. And so, if we get the national identity right, where everybody believes that I'm not going into politics, I'm not in government to take care of the boys or to take care of my ethnic group, but to ensure that Nigeria becomes a land where people have access to opportunities, access to resources, where we can boldly say, I'm in Nigeria anywhere. And that will make people want to work for the unity of Nigeria. Now, everybody's here let me say this, we are more like a cake sharing nation, and we are not a cake baking nation. Everybody comes in and feels this is my turn. And even when you have a local government chairman, it comes in there. There's no identity. We need to solve the identity problem. And then we need to talk about the educational problem. Our people need to be educated. We all have certifications and everything. But,
Sorry, when you say our people need to be educated, what happens to the ones that are educated? What happens to them?
Okay, this is like, I said identity, and then I'm not talking about the education and expectation of the people. Now you're going to realize that there's a different kind of education we're getting in Nigeria. When you have the opportunity to travel outside Nigeria, you're going to realize that education is designed to empower you to be able to create, where you receive information and you develop skills, acquire skills to be able to create something, to provide solutions. The whole concept is to be able to empower someone to provide solution and solution the society needs. Now we need to develop that kind of education, and our educational curriculum is faulty, and our educational institutions are not well equipped. The custodians of our educational systems are not empowered. So we need to look into that. We need to rebuild the educational infrastructure in Nigeria. It is expected by most electorate that we can also have even access to acquire quality education. You go to other developed nations, and even in Africa, there are different pathways you can acquire quality education and be able to provide solutions to the problems that confront your society. Now we need to look into that. It's a whole lot of infrastructure that we need to look into when it comes to the educational sector. Then we talk about the other infrastructure, the railway, the roads infrastructure. We talk about when you travel even to other African countries, it's like we're in the Stone Age. That's the truth. We have infrastructure deficit in Nigeria, a lot of it. So we expect leaders that understand the role infrastructure, the impact of infrastructure development to the economy, to the creation of jobs and opportunity. We need that. So we need to look at people that understand that possess the capacity to do this. And then we talk about national identity, education, infrastructure, but we also need to talk about technology development. You talk about the two in modern economies, in modern political system, the two factors that are very essential for you to develop a nation. One is the character of the leadership. The other is the technological development of that nation. We can't continue to operate with the analog mindset. We need to begin to look how we can develop our technology. Nigerians are very innovative and creative, but we need to be deliberate about this.
Okay, I wouldn't want us to dwell much in there. Now, talking about the need for education as part of the expectations we need from our leaders that are coming in, and of course the ones that have actually served Nigeria. Let me use that word serve, because most of us, we forget that leadership is all about service. So for those of us, those leaders that have served Nigeria and they've gone, education is a vital part that no nation deals or survives or thrives without it. Now, coming back to the expectations, at a time like this, what are the things we expect from the political sphere?
The right environment, that was the truth.
Do we have that right environment? As far as Nigeria is concerned right now, do we have such right environment? Have we created such environment? Have we ever had such an environment before? There are a lot of questions that surround us.
That's true.
Good. Now, had it been, I don't want to be conclusive now. If we have had such an environment, do we still have it now? If we don't have it now, what altered the ones we had before?
Okay. Every nation, every society involves. We need a social reengineering, not just talking about the politicians. The politicians are product of the society. That's the truth. For instance, you go out there to campaign, somebody's going to tell you, this my PVC is for sale.
Okay.
Now, the average politician spends millions, hundreds of millions to get into power. And then in order to achieve that position,
a lot of money needs to exchange hands.
And then it pays that. What I tell people is that the money you receive from the politicians are part of the developmental costs of your community.
Okay.
Now, very few politicians are there to serve. And for those that want to serve, they're scared of the cost. the capital, the human resource, the financial cost. They're afraid. And so this environment, we all need to get involved. It's not just talking about the politicians. We need to get involved. Sometimes you have to be very truthful as a Nigerian and ask yourself, when a young politician comes to you and tells you, I want to vie for a leadership position, the first thing that comes to you is that, do you have the money? Is that not?
Are you saying that finance is a deterrent to contesting?
It is, and it's keeping some of the brightest and the best from getting involved in politics in Nigeria.
But we still have people that come out to contest out of courage.
That is what some of us are doing, because we understand that coming out is bigger than we ourselves, and when we succeed, it will give other people the courage to do the same. But I'll tell you from my own personal experience, courage is key, but it costs a lot. Because you have the godfathers that are trying to offer you resources, and you're saying no because you don't want to set the destiny of the people you're leading. You have the issues of money bags out there, and then you want to do this alone. You want to work with the people, believing that the electorate will believe in your concept and want to support you. You need all the courage you can get to achieve, to become a leader in Nigeria, especially young politicians.
Now coming back to you, what actually is the motivating factor? What pushed you to want to come out and represent the people of Buhari/Amak, at the federal constituency?
Okay, I've been in Abuja for the last 23 years, and I've been involved in leadership as a student. Actually, I was the deputy speaker of my student union parliament, and I was president of 4 to 5 different organizations as a student. I've always believed in leadership, and as the opportunity to influence people for good, be relevant to the cause of other people's dreams, and then to provide service. And it's part of my makeup as a person to want to give myself to serve, and I've carried out this all through my life. Now, talking about Abuja, why did I do this? When I realized something in Abuja, the people of Abuja have not been truly represented.
Okay.
That's the truth.
Is that the reason you're coming out?
Yeah, the reason is that...
Do you feel there are things you have to offer that other people that have led don't have?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the experience, talking about the traction. I presently run a developmental organization in Abuja outside my business, and we have been running that since 2011. It's actually called the Blair Initiative. It's designed to raise emerging leaders in business people. We've done that, and we have been able to train and empower more than 10,000 emerging leaders in business people. So it's not something we're doing because we're in politics. Now, it's just that we felt, okay, we run leadership services, centers and everything. We can't just keep complaining. We can't just keep saying that this one is not doing it right. This is what this person ought to do. We have bills we have already prepared that we intend to sponsor the first 1 year of our stay in the house. We have bills like the WISE bill, like the National Identity and Citizens' Right bill. We're prepared for it.
Now, if we have bills that we want to, sponsor when we get there, what happens to the ones that have already passed all the legislative processes, that are not active?
Now, okay, fine.
What happens to the bills? I'm sure you know some of them.
Yeah, sure.
Good.
Now, the issue is this. When we get him, we are following this even now. We're going to make sure that we ensure these bills are passed. But looking at our own environment, the Abuja, that is a center of unity. Abuja is not, you just have to get back to the national the effort in Abuja. I'm sure when you visit Dubai, the UK, and you're coming back to Nigeria, you feel like crying. There's so much opportunity here, and we realize that it's because people in power that don't understand that this is the Federal Capital Territory, where this is the face of Africa. This is the capital of the largest black nation in the world. This is a place where every black person in the world, the black race, should see us home. And so we need to put policies in place.
Now, are you saying there are no policies, or do we lack enforceability mechanism?
Okay, I'll tell the truth regarding, because now I'm going to be representing the Ahmad Buhari Federal Constituency. There's presently no policy that deals with the issue of the city called Abuja and its people. There's not. And Recently, within the week, I was out somewhere, and I met a very elderly traditional chiefs, and they told me about the children being out of school. For instance, in Abuja, to be in primary school, all you need to pay is a minimum of 900 naira. And you know that there's so many children that can't go to school in Abuja, can't afford 900 naira to be in school. And all because of the faulty policy. We need to put this in place. And even when you have policy, like you said, people are not implementing this because people get into power and all they're looking at for is to take care of their own pockets and not there to serve the people. I was shocked to discover that. Then I told the people, I said, can I get the list? This very Sunday, a very prominent traditional chief of the indigenous people of Abuja said he had to sign an undertaking to be able to send his daughter to school. That's it.
Why?
Because they couldn't pay the school fees. And so there's so many things going on. There's poverty in the land.
I think that is a general
it is a general issue. I'm going to tell you, like in Australia, we have what we call there's a particular university in Australia that is meant for the indigenous people. We need to understand that when we talk about national identity and citizen right, there are things you can put in place that takes care of these basic things. For instance, talking about the social integration, the social welfare, the social enterprise, we need to put policies that takes care of the social welfare of the society. For instance, you start with understanding the social justice of your people. You need, like we work operating the 4S, the social justice. You need to treat people as human, irrespective of tribe, religion. Then you talk about social integration. We need to become one as FCT. And then you talk about the social welfare. You need to have safety net for certain people. And and then you talk about the social enterprise. I'm naturally a social entrepreneur. You need to learn how to use commercial activities to solve social problems. And now put in the political will to ensure that these policies are in place.
All right, we'll hold it on there. We'll go for a short break now. When we come back, we'll go straight to what we can do, for the political position you're vying for. Please stay tuned.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has another tone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history,
it's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
Welcome back to National Discourse, and we went for a short break and we are back. We are still with Oba Boniface, still contesting for Federal House of Representatives, Amak/Buhari Federal Constituency. Good. So we are still here, and I told you when we come back for the break, we are going to be looking at what you can offer for the people. You know, I asked you what is your motivation for coming out, and you've said that. Now, what can you offer? And when I was trying to, let you analyze the just concluded gubernatorial debate that took place in Lagos, there are some points they were saying, and I wanted to bring it down to you. Good. Now, apart from what brought you out, which you've answered, now what can you offer? Now, talking about election, when is a time like this, you have campaign promises, you have a lot of things coming in and all that. Now, what is the difference between what people have said or what people keep saying during campaign and what actually happened when they get into the position?
Yeah, before you vote for anyone, you should look at the person's traction.
Okay.
Like
What do you mean by traction?
Okay, traction means your past experience, the past experience of the person, the record of the individual.
Okay.
And we tend to forget the fact that when a politician shows up suddenly and says, okay, vote for me, I'm going to do this, you need to find out if he's got the capacity to truly do that. Now, I've developed an empowerment center since 2011, known as the Blair Initiative Center.
Okay, you said that.
And through the center, we have trained, like, between the month of August and December 2018, we were able to train 2,500 women and youths.
Wow.
Just last Saturday.
It's just training. Do you train and empower these people?
We operate a project called the 10 Protocol. What's the 10 Protocol? Training, empowerment, and networking.
Okay.
So we train them, then we empower them, and then we network with them. Now, for some we empower, some we network. There are people we've trained in the area of ICT, and we are networking with them to develop businesses. For instance, there's a particular ICT young entrepreneur we're working in to get to a point where people within that team should be able to earn 30 million every month. And the way it is being done is simply get 30 naira from a million subscribers, and that gives you 30 million every month. So we understand the system. As a social entrepreneur, we've done this for the last 20 years.
And it works.
And it works. We can tell we understand the system, merging leadership and business together. And so I started doing business right from my university days. Set up my first business 23 years ago while I was in my final year.
Okay.
And it's registered and it's still functioning up to date. So for some of us, we are serial entrepreneur, but it got to a point we needed to blend the concept of entrepreneurship and solving social problem. And so we took it to the next level. We became social entrepreneur. That means using commercial vehicle to solve social problems. So we understand this. And that includes unemployment.
Okay.
That includes youth unrest. Now we understand this, converting waste to wealth, putting policies, system structures and strategies, getting the 3 S in place to be able to create wealth. Nigerians are looking for the right environment to manifest. The average Nigerian youth is both creative and innovative.
Now, so, what plans do you have in place for the people of Amak, Buhari, federal constituency?
Okay, we're going to scale what we're doing at the moment. We're going to take it to the 22 wards within the constituency. And we're going to ensure that we sponsor that into a bill called the Niger WISE, and the WISE is an acronym for Workforce Integrated Social Enterprise.
Okay.
Now, what we're trying to do, that's where we're going to be operating the 10 Protocol, which is train, empower, and network. Now, through the WISE project, which we intend to, through policies and through the constituency project, is going to provide room for people that have good ideas and also want to solve social problems like unemployment, poverty, to be able to take advantage of the WISE initiative, to bring up the ideas. You're going to have, for instance, we're bringing what we've done, the business incubator, business accelerator. And for some people that already started doing something, that want to scale it up. Through the WISE project, we're going to ensure that we help them attain that. And the WISE project, there's also the part of graduates and that is why it's called the Workforce Integrated Social Enterprise, is to get people into the workforce, not necessarily getting them into the civil service.
Okay.
The workforce is bigger than the civil service. It's to get people equipped with skills, information, and support systems that can make them become creative and to be able to access opportunities and resources. We intend to do that in all the 22 wards within my constituency. And we're already doing that. On Saturday, we went to Kagini and we gave some installment for those we've trained, and we set up some ladies to kickstart the business. We have done that at the BRG ward, Kubwa ward. We're doing that at Kabusa. And so, people ask, how come you're everywhere? The truth is that it's not suddenly. We've been doing this for the last...
That is actually a problem we have with politics. Some persons just lie low, and when it's time for elections, and of course if they have any political stake or they are coming up for anything, you see them just resurface. Now, if you say you've been doing this for a long time, I don't think such questions should have emerged. I don't know if you're getting me.
No, what I'm trying to say is this. When people talk about politics in Nigeria, like you said, we need to have a mentorship about what leadership is. Now, there are politicians in Nigeria that don't have followership. For instance, in Abuja, I have more than 25,000 direct followership, cut across the 22 wards through my empowerment program. But you're not going to see me on the papers. Now, when people go around, but you can, every ward you go and you ask about the Oba's mandate, people say, oh, we are aware of the Oba's mandate. And we've been doing that for the 20. So it is about leadership is about influence, relevance. You need to be relevant to the people. People want to get job. Are you relevant to that? It's about having a positive influence on people, being relevant to them, and providing service to the people. So I'm not the average politician. I'm somebody right from my university days. Like I said, I was president of 5 different organizations while in school. I was deputy speaker of the student parliament. And every organization, I'm either the president or the director there. It is about providing service to people. And that is why, within the shortest time, I decided to say, okay, I'm not going for political leadership. The people I've provided service to, the people that are within our circle called the ambassadors, are all working for this project because they can talk about my traction.
Okay.
So it's not just political stories.
Okay. It's not like you just sprung up from somewhere.
You understand? So
okay.
And I'll tell you the truth, that is what I encourage even young politicians to do. Build yourself over time. And it will reduce the cost of politicking. People from the baseline, they're talking about the pool of people that we have served over the last 8 years. They are the ones sponsoring our campaign. They are the ones paying for venues. They are the ones contributing. And so it's not a burden on me like most people. So it's also part of the things we're trained leaders in our center, the Play Initiative. You need to build yourself over time and in the process build others so that it will be easier for you to truly provide, to scale. So what we're doing is that we're scaling our leadership to a larger level.
All right. Apart from that, looking at the landscape of Buhari and Amak, constituency, looking at them physically, apart from the empowerment program, you have been doing prior to now. Like I said, it's not like you just came up from the blues and you just want to do something because you're contesting. Now, looking at the party you're coming up from, sorry, you didn't introduce your party.
Okay, the Providence People's Congress.
Good. Now, as part of the election expectations we have in Nigeria, do you think there is party influence? Does it really exist during elections in Nigeria?
Yeah, it does.
Looking at as Buhari is, and you have the AMAC.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah. There's a 3P in politics. You have the party, the people, and the person.
Okay.
Now, for instance, the people in PDP, APC that are working for me under the Oba's mandate. Because now I have a platform that is not partisan. I have an NGO that has been existing for more than 11 years. I have businesses I've set up. Now, so you're going to look at that. So you're talking about the person and then the people you've served.
Okay. And not the party.
Now, when your person is relevant to people, now you're talking about 2 out of 3. Now, the people and the person can uphold the party.
Okay.
Now, that is what is happening with PPC. Now, people look at PPC, and I'll tell you the truth, there are people that said, okay, they come to me and said, we're going to vote, I'm in PDP, I'm going to vote for my president, but I'm going to vote for you. Presently in Abuja, we have close to 68 organizations, group working for PPC because of me. Some will tell me, I'm a leader of my party, I'm going to come out, but with what you have done in my community, I'm going to do this. And I think with time, it it is important that the party should be taken serious. But for most young parties, the truth, this is the reality. You need to have people of credibility to bring on your platform. Then the people can truly bring credibility to the party.
Okay, now the reason I asked the question is, most times, let's be very sincere to ourselves. You have the popular parties, we all know, even as a little child knows PDP and knows APC and probably CPC and the rest of it. Now, the question will always come in. Now, why picking up an unpopular party? Sorry to use that word. All right. Yeah, the question will always come in. Why you are good, like your people have seen it. Not why picking or trying or deciding to go under an unpopular party. Don't you think that will make your chances? Okay,
I'm going to say this from my own experience. I didn't start with the Providence People's Congress.
Okay.
Wasn't a particular party, but I want to call the name of that party.
Fine.
And the truth is that I was a bedrock of that party in the FCT. But I wasn't a noise maker. When I left the party, 80% of the people in that party are with me in my new party at the moment.
Okay, you formed this party now?
I didn't form this one.
Okay, it's been existing?
Yeah, because when I left, it's like the fact that they're not going to benefit from the programs I've been doing. That is why I said the person and the people. So they said, since he's not in this party anymore, we need to keep enjoying that program. But that is not the truth. But this perception. So they decided to follow me to the new party.
Okay.
That is one.
And they are partisan?
And they are involved. Yeah.
Okay.
Secondly, the reason why politicians don't keep to their promise, I'm going to be very frank with you, basically two. Godfatherism and money bags.
Sure.
Now, politicians can tell you everything. Some politicians can tell you everything they want you to hear. But because of the pressure of godfathers and money bags, it becomes difficult for you to keep to your promise. It was a major decision for me as somebody that really wants to serve the people. I sat with my team and said, this is the situation going on. We are going to fail the people if we go through either PDP or APC. We're going to fail them. That's the truth. We won't be able to give the service the people really want.
You think the party would have influenced you?
Yeah, sure. That's the truth. And most politicians you see failing, it's not because they want to.
Are there parties that are devoid of godfatherism in Nigeria right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
My party is the Providence People's Congress. It is. And because, and you can tell from the primaries, and the forms from most parties, just where you have to pay the outrageous amount for party forms, you see it as if it's purely business.
Okay.
And
yours was less.
People fighting people fighting to get that ticket and everything. And you talk about the negotiation behind the scene, and you ask yourself, if truly I want to sleep well, and I know that someday I'm going to be accountable to God, you have to tell yourself the truth. Are you willing to take these deals? And you know you're not going to be of service to the people. Or you're going to go to the people and say, okay, I have no godfather. I have no money back. Can you back me? Because so that I want to be truly accountable to the people. We've seen this in Nigeria in previous political era.
And it works?
And where people fought their godfathers and they got into trouble. And we've seen some of the best politicians, even previous governors, and in some states, I don't want to call the state, that came into the federal, and we can see how messed up it is at the moment. And this is because it's like a taskmaster system, where your policy is designed to promote the personal agenda of a particular group of persons.
And not the people's agenda.
And not the people's agenda.
Okay.
So if we must serve the people, the people must take back the power to elect the right candidates and be willing to support the right candidate, so that the candidate will not be looking behind his shoulder or looking at, I have to satisfy the desire of A, Y, Z, or I'm going to be in trouble, or I have to pay back certain amounts or I'm going to be in trouble. Now the people must become the boss of the politician, because as politicians you are hired to serve the people. So the electorate must understand this power given to them as citizens of this great nation. And so we look into that and say, no, okay, we're going to go to PPC, the Providence People's Congress, and they have 3 principles: no godfather, no money bag, and no riches.
Do you think this will continue as the party keeps expanding?
Yeah, because
the policies you have right now that's sustaining the party, do you think is going to continue? Peradventure, the parties succeeds, in time to come.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, the values of the individual. Remember, I talked to you about the forces: credibility, competence, character, and courage. Now, for those of us that are emerging leaders of this party, we intend to keep this value. You understand? Because we are going to set the standard. And when we get into power by God's grace, get into leadership position, we're going to serve the people, because really we don't have any godfather to report to but the people. So we don't have excuse. We'll have no excuse. We can't afford to fail, because our success will help other emerging leaders that truly want to serve, but they are careful, they're scared of the old concept of godfatherism. So it is bigger than us. Our winning this election is bigger than us. It's like breaking the glass ceiling. There's so many credible young Nigerians that want to serve, that have what it takes to serve. But these bottlenecks, we need to get it off. And so we're not just doing this for ourselves. We are doing this for the set of Nigerians, the emerging leaders
that don't have the opportunity.
That don't have the opportunities. And by the time we succeed, what is lacking is courage. That's the truth. So
you have courage?
Yeah.
And if you look at the Nigerian political sphere, you discover that if there is no finance involved, it might be a little difficult.
True.
Am I correct?
Yeah, true.
Because the way the Nigerian system is, you discover that poverty is actually the order of the day. Yeah. So if you come out and you meet someone on the road that haven't eaten good food for 3 days, and you say, take this 2,000 naira and vote for me, the person will take it and the person will vote. That is vote buying. In as much as they are not paying at the polling unit and all that. Now you meet someone on the way that maybe looking for the children's school fees or whatever, and then you offer the person assistance and say, vote for me. That is another part of it.
Yeah, vote buying.
Now, if we have not, tactically taken care of our economy, as a nation, do you think this is going to stop? I want to think finance is still a very huge factor, deterring so many good people, so many good willing Nigerians that have the leadership skills to come out and contest for electoral positions, win it, and then rule the people effectively.
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth is, I'm not saying I'm the best at it. I'm one of the best. That's the truth. There are things young leaders and entrepreneurs should learn. Let's talk about leadership now. One of the promoters of my campaign in a particular ward used to be my security guard. But while he was working for me, I made him to go and acquire skills in electrical works. And he went for that to acquire skills in solar panel. And as God will help him, he got a good contract. And now this former security guy is now the owner of a property.
Wow.
He's the one making a lot of noise. So we have people, the truth is this, we have testimonies. And we have people that have graduated from our centers that have started doing businesses. And people the truth is that Nigerians just want to be sure that you're real. And when you have people testifying when we go out for campaign, we have people testifying. And then you suddenly meet people. People call me every day. Sometimes I get hundreds of calls every day saying that somebody talked about you and we are contributing money to do this for you in our wards. Don't worry, don't do it. And sometimes you see 70 years old fathers calling me, mothers calling me and saying that, son, we don't know, we want to work for you. We want a retired professor walked to my campaign office one day and gave me 1,000 naira. And said,
that's a big deal for him.
And said, I don't have money, but I've heard about you. And I want to support you with this 1,000 naira. The truth is this. Most people looking for leadership, they have not also built capacity. It's not my money that we're using for the electionary process. When you build people, when you call them in time of need, they will come in.
Now, do you think that reflects on the polling units? Do you think it reflects on the ballot papers?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, like for instance, we have people printing our posters and working. Sometimes people send me pictures of people meeting late at night in communities, reaching out. Spoken to both the indigenous chiefs, the Yoruba chiefs, the Igbos, and everybody, and discovered that people just want solutions. The reason why people talk it and it looks as if you don't have history of providing solution, people are not going to trust you. Are you getting me? Nigerians are tired, that's the truth. Nigerians want true change.
Okay.
Nigerians are tired. And if they see a viable candidate, but when you present yourself like, okay, I'm a politician and you have no past stories, you have not developed capacity over the years, there's nobody that can vouch and say, you've done this for me, you empowered me, you set me up. It will be difficult for people to raise money for you. And so we have, sometimes in a day, we're going out for campaign, and we see people sending in 50,000, 100,000, people we don't know, saying that somebody's told us about you. We want to support you, and it's very interesting. Something happened just a few days ago. Our campaign fund got to less than 400 naira, and we're supposed to have 4 campaigns that day. And as I was about leaving my house, somebody came to pick me. Someone sent 100,000, another 150. Before you knew it, people started sending money when they heard we're going out, and I started crying. You know why? Because these are people you have sold into their lives in the past. And I just felt that if you get there, we know it's going to be about service. So the truth is that, and if God is the one saying, if you're doing this for humanity, the truth is that the hand of God will be upon your life. People will be willing to provide resources. And, you know, people do this sometimes for interior motives. I think resources goes when you have the true intention. Nigerians are not that bad.
All right, so you think you have the confidence, of course, it's courage that brought you out, and you have the confidence that your party can compete, effectively and favorably, with the leading parties.
At the moment, the truth is this: at the moment, if election takes place today in Abuja, I'll be announced the winner. That's the truth. At the moment.
What happens to other electoral? It's not a process. Have you thought about or have you ever visualized a situation scenario where there are other forces, there are other things that will mark elections?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. And how do you intend to tackle that from your own end? We are talking about electoral malpractices.
Yeah, it's true.
So how would you tackle that, especially in the position you're vying for at your own end?
Now, as a strategist myself, and we have 498 polling units in Abuja. That's my constituency, the Amagbari Federal constituency. And I'll tell you, we have a minimum of 1,000 persons in each of the polling units at this moment, working for us. It is difficult to manipulate elections when you have people monitoring those elections. Now, in previous years, what you do is that you just have people stay in the center, in the city center, and they don't have people in the villages. And people don't even know them there. And so, but I'm everywhere. I go to villages and I feel at home. I climb the bike, the keke napep, and we just enjoy ourselves in those villages. And we're at home in those villages, and we are going to be doing lots of it. And we're not just there now. That's why I said people need to trust you. These are people that we have been doing a lot for the last 12, 10, 8 years, and especially the last 2 years. So we have people in all the polling units working for us, monitoring these activities. So our victory will be so overwhelming that it will be difficult
for anybody to
rig us out. That's the truth. Now, and I'll tell you, the APC candidate, the PDP candidate, with what we have done and with the grassroots movement taking place, and it's increasing by the day. It's increasing by the day. Groups are coming in. People are calling my phones and say, we want to do this for you. We have heard about you. People that I don't even know. Even on my way here today, got calls from people. And people are like, we want to do this for you. We have just met this group and they want to see you. And so it's exciting. And And the truth is that the election is, and vote is going to count in 2019. Vote is going to count this time. Because people are more informed. People are more exposed. And so it's going to be different. I don't want people out there to be scared and think vote is not going to count. Just go out there and vote. Vote for PPC. And you're going to see that's going to be different. Because you don't want to vote people that are there to represent themselves or represent just a group interest. You want to vote somebody you can hold accountable. And I think that is what we're bringing on board. And we're bringing the skills, we're bringing experience of the last 22 years in the world of social entrepreneurship and leadership. We might look young, but the truth is that our life, when you check my profile, it's been life of service all through. And so it's been there. It's not about somebody that is 50 years, 60 years that have never served any community and everything. So we're talking about 22 years of service to the good people of Abuja. And we've done that, and we intend to take it to the next level after this election.
All right, this is where we'll draw the curtain for today's national discourse. Thanks for coming, and thanks for sharing with us what you intend to do for your people. And I tell you that this program goes viral, so your people will be watching. And we pray and we wish you good luck, that it goes on well with you and the plan you've had, so that you will, roll out the plans you have for your people, one step after the other. And I tell you, like I normally tell all politicians that come here, now this program, after this, it goes online. So your people will eventually see it. So we always tell people that stick by your words. It's not like this is not a campaign ground. And when you come and just make your campaign promises and you just feel, let me just talk and impress people and go away. We advise people to stick to what they've said, so that by the time you're coming back here, we actually do a follow-up. By the time you come back here, you'll be proud to talk to your people and say, these were the things I said before I was elected, and I was able to, stick to it. And I've done this and I've done this so far. So thank you very much. Like I said, we wish you luck, and thanks for coming to our studio. And this is a wrap on National Discourse today. I remain your host, Uche Oduma. Do have a lovely day.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in house like Nakama. They are like Agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has an undertone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history,
it's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When the Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.